This video is brought to you by
Cool green clothing coming straight up out of that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on now, come and show some love and show some support. Go online right now, coolgreenclothing.com, and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. The crazy thing about life is you just never know how it will play out. You can have the same routine for 10 years and everything goes smooth and exactly as planned. Then on the first day of that 11th year, something can change everything. There's really no rule book out here on living. We wake up, do whatever we do for income during the course of that day, hoping you don't run into no trouble, forcing you to take a life or possibly lose yours, ending in a cell or in a graveyard. You can't control other people. You could have all good intentions, be courteous, smile all the time, hold the door for people, but one encounter with someone who had a bad day can still put you in harm's way. I had to teach myself over the years to be the bigger person in a lot of situations. Sometimes you even gotta think for others, especially if you know they just having a moment and really don't know what they doing. Then you add the influence of certain things, whether it's liquor, pills, whatever, and a petty situation or a need for some money can intensify most situations by 100, depending on who you dealing with and their motives. As some people do things under the influence they probably would have never done with a sober mind. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a man's run-in with a couple at a gas station that turned fatal. Back in 2017, Alex Robleski, who family and friends called Albo, was a 41-year-old man who worked as a bartender at the Row House Grill in Federal Hill. Described as the backbone of the restaurant, always in a good mood, smiling and taking care of the customers. By this time, Alex had been working there for 10 years. His routine was pretty much the same. After work, since he got off late, he would go to Royal Farms on Key Highway to grab a snack, or just as a pit stop before going home. On November 14th, 2017, it was a regular night. Alex left work and headed to the farm store in the 1400 block of Lawrence Street. Working in a bar and ending his shift, he had a few drinks. He went in the store, greeted the clerks as he always did. The time was a little after 1 a.m. He stated he came in to buy a snack and he would head home in a little bit. But a few of the clerks noticed Alex was moving a little slower that night, even laying his head down by the counter. Clearly, they could see he had a few drinks. He finally grabbed a few things and headed to the register. Right about this time, a car pulled up and a man and woman got out and entered the store. Alex paid for his things, then headed out, stumbling a little bit towards the ATM machine on the side of the store. The man who entered with the woman exited quickly and walked to the car to tell another man who was with them to walk around the corner with him and pursue Alex. About a minute later, shots went off and the two men ran back to the car with the woman in the driver's seat and fled. A store worker ran out to see what happened, to find Alex suffering from a gunshot wound to the stomach. They called BPD, who arrived to the scene and noticed Alex's keys and wallet was on the ground. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, he would not survive. As police talked to the store clerks back on the scene, they stated Alex was under the influence, and they felt like him paying for his items with a large bill led to the man and woman who walked in while he was still there to target him, wait for him to leave the store and attempt to rob him. Detectives asked for surveillance footage that showed the car pull up with 4 people inside. The man and woman entered the store, then the man bopping out fast after Alex left. Not long after, the shots went off. No one knew the suspects. As Alex's family and friends mourned, wondering exactly what happened, police released a video to the news and started receiving tips. One person said they recognized the man and woman as a couple. The man, 24-year-old Marquise Winston, and the woman, 37-year-old Tanya Hayes. Police ran the names through the database and realized the car leaving the scene was registered to Tanya, but at an address all the way in Atlanta, and Marquise's address was in Virginia. As more tips came in, a person claimed the other man in the car was Tanya's son, 19-year-old Tavontre Morzone, whose address was also in Virginia. A vigil was held for Alex, where hundreds of people showed up and a memorial was made for him at the bar he worked at. Police eventually tracked down Tanya and Marquise, who were in Atlanta at the time. During their interviews, Marquise stated it wasn't a robbery. He claimed Tanya drove up from Atlanta, picked him up in Virginia along with her son. They headed to Baltimore to pick up her daughter, who was also in the vehicle at the time of the incident. He claimed he had been drinking, smoking, and doing lines of girl during the trip. So when they pulled up to the Royal Farms, he was heavily under the influence. He stated he felt disrespected because Alex allegedly spit near Tanya's direction. Marquise said at the time he didn't say nothing at first, but then he went to the car to grab his gun and told Tavontre to walk with him to confront Alex. Tanya admitted to being on the scene as well, and the couple were then taken into custody, charged with murder and attempted robbery. As police determined, they followed Alex after seeing the money he had. Police also talked to Tavontre, who admitted to being with Marquise during the incident. He was also taken into custody, charged with the same thing, as it was determined an attempted robbery in which Alex tried to fight back. As the case started making its way to trial, Tavontre decided to cooperate and take a plea deal. During his testimony, he stated after picking up his sister, he sat in the car when they pulled up to the store, scrolling on Facebook. When Marquise ran back to the car, reached by his leg and grabbed a gun and told him to come on. As they confronted Alex, he claimed Marquise upped the gun. That's when he ran back to the car, but he confirmed it was an attempted robbery. For his testimony, Tavontre was sentenced to 20 years, all suspended but 8. Tanya turned down multiple plea deals before receiving 4 years for handgun violations and being a driver. Marquise was found guilty of murder and attempted robbery. At first, he was sentenced to 40 years, but during a recent appeal, he was able to give some of that time back and get the hit charge dropped to second degree, leaving him with a 20-year sentence. Rest in peace to Alex. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I know by now Tanya is home and probably her son as well. Hopefully, they can take their second chance at life and do some good. It's unfortunate that pulling out a few dollars to buy snacks can make you a target. They saw Alex was tipsy. They probably thought it would be an easy lick. My thing is, it was almost like a family trip to be a quick turnaround. How it go from that to a murder that fast? I'm sure Alex thought it would be just like any other store run he made every night. But the clerk said he usually came in a little later and left as soon as he bought his things. But this one fateful night, he entered the store and hung around, not knowing he was being lurked on. One change of protocol and a simple encounter cost this man his life. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that man. I send my prayers to his family. I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.